Good morning. Today I would like to speak about. So this is something again from my experience in life. I learned that from the scratch. I've not been taught by anybody. I just had to go through it. Which is, how do you make friends? How do you make people like you in general, even if they're family members, yada yada? How to make people like you? Now this is gonna get really materialistic here, but you just gotta know this. You just have to understand this, right? So what would you do? So just have to go forward. So if you're walking in the street and some guy is like, would you have $1, sir? This and that. Can I speak with you? What is your first reaction? For most people, their first reaction is that they want to get away from that. They don't want to face them. They don't want to talk to them. Why? Because that person is, at worst, might do something to harm you, and at best, is just wasting your time, right? Now, if so when people don't like you, you're basically being that guy. You might not know it, but you're being that guy. Now, how are you that guy? Because you have nothing to offer. You see, if people around you feel that they're wasting their time talking to you, you know, like you probably know a lot of people that you might like, right? People in your life or even on social media or wherever, right? Why do you give them attention? Why do you give them any sort of attention? Because you're getting something out of it. It doesn't matter if it's an information. It doesn't matter if it's some sort of support. You're getting something out of that connection, and that's why you keep giving them that attention, right? Now, so you got to look at yourself, and then you got to look at other people and put yourself in the spot of other people, right? So if you were the other person, what are they getting out of you? If the answer is zero or very little, and then that's not a good sign. You see, you have to have a benefit to people around you, and then they would naturally gravitate towards you. It might take some time, because people also, think about the history of a person. So if you've been useless or you've been out of value for a long time, people are gonna think that you're gonna keep being that way. So it might take a while to kind of change their mind, and some people, they might not even change their mind, or it take a lot of effort. It take a lot of change for them to change for them to change their mind about you and see you as a valuable thing in their life, and for them to give you attention, right? So I went through this long journey just growing up trying to understand it, because I didn't get it, because I was like, I'm nice, I'm very courteous, I'm not rude. Why do a lot of people not want to pay attention to me? Why don't they want to hang out with me? Why don't people want to talk to me? What is wrong with me? And so, gradually I was testing things out, so this, that. And then I hit a snag. What I was trying to say, like, I seen other people invite their friends, for lunches, for dinners, or give them some valuable gifts, and I could not do any of that. And, I kind of noticed, and then growing up also, when you got to go to work, after high school, after college, you got to go to work. You can't even give your time. You don't even own your own time. This is the sad reality of most people in this situation. It's not that only you don't have the material money, you don't own yourself, your own time. You don't own that to give it to other people. Um, so so after that you try, you kind of break out of that, and then you slowly understand your situation, and how much that you can't give other people, and then you start to give and see the result. Heck, even mental health. So when you go to work every day, when you put your time into things that deteriorates your mental health, and so when you talk to people, when you interact with them, so that thing is like a burden, is like a liability. So if you're angry, if you're irritated the whole time, and you're interacting with people around you, so that's all bad things coming out of your direction. So nobody wants to be around you, you know, in some long time, maybe except your mom or some close people to you. So yeah, so just pay attention to that and know your situation. If you are so out of time, so out of money, and you can't give around anything, you gotta try to figure out how to get out of that situation. It might take a while, and you might not reach there, and that's life. But you gotta keep trying. Um, but yeah, if you've just been wondering, why you can't make friends, why nobody likes you, it's most likely because of that, which I don't think is right. And some people, few people in this world that would, be generous enough and loving enough and good enough that they would not, need to get anything in return for your company or to pay attention to you. But this is more like, I'm not gonna say charity, but this is like something really like good people do, or people that maybe for such a long time. This is not something that you're easily gonna get. It's not something that you're gonna keep getting. It's something that you're lucky if you have, and you should keep it going by offering these people good value as much as you can. Thank you for listening.